Okay, so first of all, I want to really thank Sagi for doing this last minute. I want to thank all the sponsors who are helping Sagi continue his work. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I can't really start mentioning all the names, but um, yeah, no problem. And you know how I all feel. We've been a group of people who have been davening for our hostages and soldiers since the very, very, very beginning of all this. Every single day, there is a whole group of us, and we feel very, very deeply about this. We are going in tonight to Yom HaZikaron. We are honoring all our heroes. It's a really sad day here in Eretz Yisrael. When you think about it, close to 25,000 victims of terror and boys have, I think even more, have died over the years to really protect all of Am Yisrael. And they don't really have choices. It's part of living here. And Sagi is an incredible hero. I have been watching him through Instagram. I know that many people have been posting what he does, many very big influencers. And he's on the forefront of bringing these boys back, giving them some sort of life and hope that have very critical, severe injuries, many with multiple limbs missing. And Sagi is dedicating himself to this, and he's going to talk about some of the stories of heroism and what he does. And I just want to say that Major Sagi Dovev is a retired major in IDF reserves. He's close combat officer of Sayeret Matkal IDF Elite Special Forces Unit, international expert in close combat and resilience, co-founder of SORTeam workshops, former European Jiujitsu champion, and member of the Israeli national team. He has started training. He's building resilience in soldiers and started training at Sheba Hospital on October 7th. And he shares with us heroic stories and tools used to restore soldiers' physical and mental well-being, focusing on inspiration, commitment, and resilience. And with that, I feel very, very privileged and honored to welcome Sagi, and just waiting for him to open his camera. So, Sagi, can you hear? Just give him a minute. Just give it another minute. I'm going to anyways tell people.
Naomi, I posted the information from Yehuda, okay? You can
Thank you so much. Thanks, Goldie.
And the Zelle thing there, okay?
Right. So if anybody wants to help, Sagi in continuing his heroic work, I think it's a beautiful gesture, and I think it's really mamish our responsibility all over the world as Jews. So okay, are you there? There you are, Sagi. Okay, perfect.
Well, 1 second. Trying to make it all happen. Good.
Hi, Sagi. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Shalom. Shalom. Thank you for having me. Sorry. Inappropriate, but it's my it's my logo.
So introduce yourself, Sagi. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Let's go.
I will. 1 second. Good. So can everybody hear me? You're good?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So shalom. My name is Sagi Dovev. I am 48. I am a retired major from the IDF elite units. I was head of close combat, Krav Maga. I used to build resilience and teach young 18-year-olds how to fight and how to believe in themselves, to believe they are elite soldiers. Because when you say special forces, the elite units in the States, you think about Navy SEALs, Delta Force, you think about 35-year-old mature
Mhm.
fighters, like professional fighters. In Israel, they are 18-year-olds straight out of high school. Good, young kids uh, that I need to take them and make them uh, physically and mentally believe that they are elite soldiers, operators. And so for many, many, many years, I taught the kids how to fight and how to build resilience and how to be ready for situation like a situation like October 7th. So if we want to go back to October 7th, so I woke up to the sound of sirens, missiles. I was a retired major, as I said. When I retired, I founded a company that does resilience workshops. Uh, I wanted to build resilience to civilians, to companies, to organizations, to teams, not just elite units. And I had an amazing workshop with two other officers from my unit. We worked on it for more than a year. We had contracts around the world signed, but that was a few days before October 7th. So October 7th happened, and we all went back to the unit immediately. And I knew exactly what was going on. I heard the sirens, and I knew this is war because I knew the situation. I knew this is unusual. I knew the intelligence was talking about, one day the Hamas are training, and I saw the videos. I saw the videos. Today we all know them, but I saw them live. They were live streaming them. They were sending them in WhatsApp groups, and I knew it's not fake news. I knew it was real. And I told my wife, I told the kids, I packed a bag. I said, Daddy's going to the army, he's going to reserves. And I started driving to base down south, and I saw the helicopters above me going the opposite direction. And I started receiving phone calls from my soldiers that have already been injured and severely wounded in battle. So I decided to turn around and go to Sheba Hospital, which is the biggest hospital and where all the helicopters went. Uh, and I went to the hospital, I went to the helicopter pad, and it was an incredible and unbelievable sight. Even for me, I've seen a few things in my life, but every 2 minutes a helicopter lands with dozens of severely wounded soldiers. It's not a sight we're used to seeing in Israel. And I started to try and identify the soldiers, to see if any of the soldiers coming out of the helicopter are my soldiers, if I know them, if I can help them in any way. And I saw one of the guys, I'll call him Y. I saw him being carried out on a stretcher, severely wounded. His leg is severely wounded. Uh, his hand is severely wounded. He's in induced coma, and he's an amazing kid. I trained him just the day before at base for his very special operation. Uh, that morning, 6:35, he was called to deal with a terrorist intrusion alert. And the thought in his head was, okay, I'll go deal with 3, 4 terrorists, and I'll go back to base to eat breakfast. It was Shabbat, Simchat Torah. And an hour later, he's in the battle of his life, him and his team against thousands of fully equipped Hamas terrorists. And he was shot twice in his leg, and he had a tourniquet on for more than 7 hours. So if any of you know anything about medicine, you know that eventually they had to amputate his leg. He couldn't be evacuated. After 7 hours, they evacuated him, and that's where I met him at the hospital. at the helicopter pad. And I always say I was the voice in their heads. I used to be their voices in their heads. I used to talk to them and tell the soldiers that one day will come and they will need to use their resilience. It will be a life and death situation. And I was talking to them, and now again I was talking to him when he was in induced coma. I was talking to him next to his bed, and I knew he was listening to me. I knew he was strong, and I told him, listen, you are going to get through this. You are strong. We trained for this. This is your resilience. You will get through this, and you will fight again. And eventually he did. And right now, I'm happy to say that he's back in base with a prosthetic leg. But he's fighting for Israel in elite units. And that's a story that not many people know here in Israel about the soldiers that have been wounded and went back to battle. Severely wounded. I mean, he lost a leg above the knee. So the first couple of months, I was at the hospital treating my soldiers, helping them with anything they needed, from taking a shower to drinking coffee through a straw, to bringing them a lunch, to anything they wanted. And after 2 months, they started rehabilitation, and I was thinking, how can I help them? And then, they told me, listen, we are warriors. We want to feel like warriors again. We cannot stay at bed and do like physical therapy with band-aids and squishing balls and whatever it is. So I said, this is what I do. I build resilience. I train. I will train them in martial arts. Everyone with, with his own disability, and I will help them. And this is what I've been doing. Uh, and this is what I've been doing since then. And not only to my soldiers, to the soldiers of the unit, because all the soldiers wanted to train. So I dedicated my life to training the wounded soldiers, the amputees. And then the released hostages started coming to the hospital. So they asked me to train them as well. So I started training the released hostages, Mia Shem, Maya Regev, Andrei Kozlov, and many others. And it became a very big thing, because this is how I also became big on social media. Because one of the first times I didn't have social media when I retired, when I was in the army. I wasn't allowed to have social media, so I didn't really know about it. But one of the first trainings with Amitai Argaman, who is a double amputee, I put my old iPhone on the ground, and I took a video of us training, just to show him later on, something about his technique. And I showed him the video, and he was looking at himself, and he said, "Wow, I look like a warrior." And I thought of myself, when I looked in the mirror, I thought as myself as a handicap, as a disabled person, as someone who cannot do anything. And I look at myself, and I look like a fighter again. I'm holding my fists up, and I'm punching, and I look mean, and I look tough, and I look like a warrior again. And it made him feel so good with himself. So I felt like I have maybe another mission here. Besides training them, I need to tell their stories. So I posted the video somehow to Facebook, just, no editing, nothing, just posted it. And it got more than 1 million views around the world. And Jews around the world were inspired, not only Jews, and Christians, whatever, and were inspired. And he got thousands of comments. And they told him that, he's an inspiration to them. And that made him feel even more, even better. It made him feel like he has a mission, and he has a purpose. And so I started posting videos of me training the wounded soldiers, the amputees, double amputees, triple amputees, quadruple amputees. And I started getting better at editing as well. So if you go into my social media, which you're welcome to, and see the videos, you will see the evolution of my videos. And a lot of people are inspired, and I really feel like this is part of my job, to tell the stories of our heroes. I always end it with Am Yisrael Chai, because this exemplifies exactly how Am Yisrael Chai, how their mission, and the thing that they want me to pass on is that they might be out of the battlefield for now, but they are not out of the battle. So this is what I'm trying to show, and this is what I'm trying to tell. And it's an incredible privilege and an honor for me to do what I do. So right now I just left the hospital. I'm in the car. I go there. I put my 3 little kids in the kindergarten. I have 3 little kids, 6, 3, and a 1-year-old. My wife goes to work early. Somebody has to work. I take them to kindergarten. I go to the hospital. I train between 9 to 3:30, and then I go pick up the 3 kids from kindergarten. And it's really a big honor. I will tell you one story about before you have any questions. You have a question, Nami?
So yeah, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you think that this war, I'm just going to put people's hands down right now. Do you think that that we have seen greater amputations? Because the pictures that are coming out, the amount of double and triple amputees.
It's a good question.
Are we
It's a good
seeing?
question. I know.
Are we,
I know your question, and the answer is yes. And I will tell you why. Because I was amazed by the amount of amputees and double amputees and triple amputees. And one of the biggest doctors, he told me, why? Because at the wars we had before, at the all the battles and the wars we had, those amputees won't be alive. They won't survive. Right. So today, because of medicine, because of our good medical treatment straight in the battlefield, they have life-saving treatment, and this is why they are alive. So before, we could have had those amputees, but technology and medicine was not so advanced.
Do we have greater injuries in this war, Sagi, would you say, than in previous wars, or we have seen this level of injuries? Was it because it was so close combat, and we had to, because it was in civilian areas, we had so many more sacrifices of our own boys? Would you say that is a true statement?
First of all, good question. Again, you have good questions, and you didn't prepare them even. So you see, I told you, do it spontaneous. It will be okay. So that's a good question, and the answer is yes. But primarily because we have hostages in Gaza, and we need to be careful, and we need to fight from close range. And we cannot bomb Gaza and flatten it from our air, from our F-35s. We could have done it, in 5 minutes, and destroy Gaza, and we wouldn't have any casualties and any fallen soldiers. But we won't do that. First of all, because we won't do that. Second of all, because we have hostages still there. And it's very, very difficult, but also because Hamas was ready. Of course, they were ready. They planned this for many, many, many years. If they could do what they did inside Israel, imagine what they prepared for us inside Gaza. So booby traps and anti-tank missiles and you name it, everywhere we go, that's, it's booby trapped. And they have so many RPGs and anti-tank missiles, and they caused many, many casualties and severely wounded soldiers. So yes, we have many wounded soldiers in this war, and I'm sharing this with this group because it just happened. I went out of the hospital, and three female soldiers just arrived at
They lost
the
limbs.
at the at yes. So it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't publicized yet, but you know it. So three female soldiers that were wounded last week, last Saturday, came to orthopedic rehabilitation. So that means they lost their legs. And so it's still going on, and it's still hard, and it's still difficult. And unfortunately, I will have a lot of work for the next couple of years.
I want to ask you something, Sagi. Also, are you, we have a lot of PTSD in this war. I think that, first of all, I think the whole country is PTSD'd. But I think our soldiers, I don't think people understand the level of trauma that people are going through. You talk about the heroism of some of these boys that feel like they're getting their lives back. But are you also seeing, Sagi, boys who are, when you lose parts of your body, Sagi, you're losing parts of your life. You know what I mean? Your dreams, the dreams that you had, that you wanted to accomplish in your life, the whole terrain has changed. Can you tell us a
True.
little bit about what, I think it's so important for people to understand what people are going through, wives, children, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, you are correct. And I always say everybody in Israel has or will have PTSD in one level or another. For every wounded soldier I treat, every one of them, every single one of them they have a team member, a friend that fell next to it. At least one. At least one. They've seen horrifying things. They are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. We have a lot of PTSD issues. I can see it. Even as a non-professional, person who treats PTSD, I do treat it in my way, but I always say it will be much greater in a year or two, because PTSD is post-trauma, and we are still in the trauma. We are still in the war. We are fighting. Above my head right now are helicopters flying to the hospital. Right now, right this second. Right this second, there are soldiers fighting in Gaza, risking their lives. And this is still going, and this will, I don't know, if you saw Ron Dermer speak yesterday, and he said the war will be
Another year.
another year. So we still have a lot of fighting to do. So the trauma will come. The trauma will come.
No,
Naomi,
think, Sagi,
sorry.
wait, just a second, Yonina.
Yeah.
Do you think, Sagi, I know this is a hard question to ask, and I know a lot of people
You
don't
can
want to hear this.
ask me anything you want.
But do you actually believe that we're going to get back all our hostages? Like, really? Because when you think about it, Sagi, it's the only thing Hamas is holding that will stop us from pummeling them. And the question is, is there even a I just read really now that they just refused another deal. Do you think that there is any chance that we will receive all the hostages back? Or
I really pray that we will. Unfortunately, we know that not all of them are alive, of course. And
right.
I don't know. I just saw for a second that there was a saying by Sarah Netanyahu that Bibi said something about 24 alive hostages, and Sarah Netanyahu just corrected him that it's less. And there's
Oh,
a big
wow.
thing right now. There's a big thing on the news right now because all the families of the hostages are like, well, what is she talking about? What does she know that we don't know? So I'll put that aside. Uh, but so we know there's around 24 hostages that
Possibly.
are alive. I really hope and think those 24 will come back. About the rest, the bodies of the hostages, I'm not sure. I don't think we know where all of them are buried, and it's a tough question. And again, Hamas, this is the only thing they have, the only card they have, they're holding to that is keeping them alive. That's it. So that's why they would they won't they won't do it. They want 5 years
Right.
of so to continue building their
Right.
their
Their underground
ammunition
tunnels so they can destroy
and
us again.
tunnels again, and we're not going to let that happen. So
Do you also think, the last question before I open it up, because I know you have to get off in a few minutes, do you also, I want to ask you something else. I know this is a contentious question. Do you think that we as a country were unprepared for what happened in October 7th because maybe we put too much emphasis on believing that it couldn't happen or it wouldn't happen, or we were too strong for it to happen, or we turned a blind eye? Sagi, do you think that there is that aspect of it, that October 7th
that,
happened?
that's a very easy question because obviously then the answer is yes. We were unprepared. Uh, I was a part of the military for many, many years, but and the intelligence, and I wasn't part of the of that. But of course, we were talking about the conception and not believing that the Hamas will want to do this, and not believing that they will want war, and we were completely 180 degrees wrong about everything, and we were unprepared, and the army was not prepared, and the Shin Bet, the Shabak, the secret service was completely, obviously, not prepared, and even the hospitals and everything that has today that has to treat wounded soldiers were not prepared. Nothing was prepared here for October 7th. And this is why it's such a big trauma, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing it voluntarily, and nobody's paying me because nobody thought about hiring someone like me or needing this. So obviously we were not ready. Uh, we were saying never again, never again, never again. But unfortunately, we were not ready for it.
I'm going to open it up. I have two questions. I know you have to get off in a few minutes, and then you'll tell us how
Yes.
we can help. We did post, we post the link to help you out on it, but you will let us know anything else we can do. Yonina, go ahead, Yonina.
Thanks. Hi, Sagi. My name's Yonina.
Hi.
I'm from Woodmere. I've met you a couple of times with Sarah Matthias and at the Chesed Center, and I'm not showing my
No.
face because I'm exercising now because we all know how important it is to be strong. I just want to piggyback off Nomi's question, and I mean, I'm so moved by everything you do. I've followed you since the beginning. I think,
Thank you.
I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I think once I heard you speak at the Chesed Center came out, and again, I obviously believe deeply in tefillah and prayer because I'm on this group, that Hamas, this is really piggybacking on some of Nomi's technical questions, Hamas, got these wicked barbarians, got our boys, in the arms and legs instead of killing them to almost make it more traumatic and painful. Could you speak to that a little? Like, they didn't just kill them, they made it that these strong boys, I went to Tel HaShomer for like an hour or two, and these boys don't have their legs. What do you say to them to give them strength when you're I mean, I'm sure you could talk for 2 hours about this. And my
Yeah.
next question,
This is what
I'll just
yeah.
ask now, in addition to money and tefillah, I remember going with some friends and some people were bringing candy and nash and like the guys want fruit, but I know we need money and we need prayer. What else do we need? Can we do?
It depends, if you really want to bring something or you want to donate something, let me know before, because sometimes, they have groups that are coming and are connecting, that are asking me before what to bring, and I tell them what to bring, what they need. If it's
Right.
video games or projectors, or they need, I don't know,
Right,
water
Lego. I brought
bottles
Lego.
or
It was crazy.
Lego. They
Yeah.
love Lego today. I don't know, it became something really big. And so it differs. So you can always contact me and
Right.
ask me.
Okay. But
Uh,
can you talk about the first question about what if that was what Hamas was doing,
yeah,
and either way what you say to the
First of all,
guys.
Hamas was doing this, and we know it. We know it from October 7th. We know they wanted to humiliate, and they wanted to videotape, and they want to break our spirits. That's basically it. They wanted to break our spirits, and this is why they live streamed it, and this is why they posted it. They want to break our spirits and hearts, but they are not able to. And this is what I tell the soldiers, that they are strong, and we build the resilience from the lowest point. If they are in the lowest point of their lives right now, they lost limbs, and they think that everything is over. And I tell them that no, they are young and they are strong, and they will be something great later on in their life, and they are becoming that people and that person. Because just to take one, Elisha Meidan, which I train, and he's a good friend. He's lighting the torch tomorrow on Yom HaAtzmaut. Uh, and he's an amazing guy, and he will do good. And hopefully, I don't know, maybe he'll run
What did he
this
lose,
country.
Sagi? What did he
He
lose?
lost both his legs above knee. Elisha
Wow.
Meidan, look it up. You can Google it. Tomorrow he will light the torch in Yom HaAtzmaut. An amazing guy. He's the son of Rabbi Medan, who was a famous rabbi in Efrat. But I try to do my best, and I try to build the resilience from scratch, and make them believe that they will
They
get through
have
this.
hope.
Yes.
Sagi, they weren't just going to attack us from Hamas. There was going to be a 7-front attack, correct? And then it just somehow there was a miracle. Am I right?
Yes. From the north, Hezbollah was supposed to join, and we are very lucky they didn't.
Okay, there's 2 more questions. Hi, Rivka, do you want to ask something? If you can unmute yourself.
Hi, first of all, kol hakavod and toda rabah. I'll keep this really short. My older husband broke his hip, and we're going to be soon transferred to Barzilai rehab. So I'm going to be there every day for a lot of hours. What can I do for those chayalim, even like just beyond visiting and saying hello?
I think what I find the best thing you can do is tutor something you're good at and somebody needs. If it's English, if it's an English lesson, if it's a guitar lesson, if it's like I do, martial arts. If I know, you can give them.
Amazing. So
driving.
do you know the name of a contact that I could speak to there by any chance, or I'll just ask whoever and they can direct me?
I think you should just ask.
You
When
can,
you go in.
yeah, and
Go
you can
ahead,
all
Sagi.
contact me on social media. You can contact me on social media, ask me, and I will try to help as much as I can.
Thank you, Sagi.
Toda rabah.
Thank you. Thank you. Michal Liba, I saw you had a question. Do you want to ask, Michelle?
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon.
Hi.
I don't know if this is relevant here, but I'm just so curious, Sagi, were you like this as a kid? Like, I would love to hear what you were like as a kid. I would love to impart your koach somehow to my children. And I don't know, you just blow me away. You're such an incredible rock.
I will say it shortly. I say that I tell it on my when I do my on my lecture. I'm just driving to I'm arriving at the kindergarten because I have to pick up the kid. So I will have a 2 minute have 2 minutes. So I will
Okay.
tell you shortly. I was my father was a diplomat, and I grew up around the world. And actually, I lived in New York and Queens as a child, 6th and 7th grade. And I come from an Orthodox family, so I had a kippah on. And I went to school, and somebody said something about the kippah, and he slapped me in my face. He punched me when I was 7, when I was in 7th grade. And I was hospitalized, and I was bruised, and I was humiliated. But I always say that was the best thing that happened to me in my life. Because on that day, on that night, I told myself I will never, ever give anybody the chance to hurt me, my family, or my friends again. Later on in life, I said, nobody's going to hurt my country, my teammates, my unit, my army, my nation. And this is how I started training in martial arts, starting building resilience, starting to believe that, we can do anything we want to, and that Am Yisrael Chai, and we live forever, and we'll fight forever, because we will always have enemies, but we will always prevail, and we will always win.
I just want to say something to you. I know you have to go get off, and I just want to, from all of us, I want to just tell you, Sagi, that I don't know how to, my husband was a Chayal Boded. Actually, he fought in the 1982 Lebanon War. And he was one of the first Chayalim Bodedim. He actually, believe it or not, is his age, is going back to do Miluim. They just created a special unit for these old guys.
If you see my
I have to tell you
videos,
something. I have to tell you something.
If you see my videos, I have a video of Danny Amir, who is a 57-year-old reservist who lost his leg.
I just have to tell you something about you, Sagi.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, because I don't want to cry. You guys are the salt of the earth. You are the tzaddikim that are holding up the whole Jewish world. And we cannot thank you enough. There is no words in this world for the hakaras hatov that we have to give all of you heroes for what you have done for the entire Jewish world. And I have to tell you, you are the front line. You are the front line. You are the Maccabim today. You are everything that represents this neshama that you were brought down in, that were like, I don't know. There's no words. And I just want to thank you from all of us for not only your service for this country, and for the whole Jewish world, because the whole Jewish world has to understand that everything you guys do protects not just Eretz Yisrael, it protects every Jew around the world. But for everything you're doing now, for all the boys that have literally, that the heroism that have sacrificed, and the widows and the orphans and the mothers and the fathers, we cannot thank you enough. I don't know what to say. And we owe you everything. We should know as a nation that we owe all of you everything.
So first of all, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. I always say, it's really my privilege to do what I do, and it's my honor. And the wounded soldiers, they are the real heroes today. And I will do anything for them. I come with them every few months. With the amputees, if they need a prosthetic legs, I come with them to the States. Some of you told me that you've seen me and you've seen so I come with them to the States to do prosthetics, and I help them build a presentation as well, and tell their stories and share their stories. And sometimes, even fundraise for the prosthetic legs or whatever it is. You will join me as I go pick up. Sorry, because I want to end this.
Thank you.
And tell you that first of all, you can all get inspired by my videos, and You can all get inspired by my videos and follow Instagram, LinkedIn. One second. תיזהרי אהובה שלי. בואי. שלום.
Aw.
שלום, one second.
Diving for you.
שלום, תגידי שלום.
Hi, gorgeous.
Hello.
Wow, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Wow, beautiful
One
child.
second, הכל בסדר?
We can dive in for you.
תודה, תודה רבה. One second. Just so I won't forget anything. One second. שלום לך, יפה של אבא. This is the most important thing in life. So you can follow and get inspired. When I come to the States, you can help me organize events, fundraisers, or speaking engagements for the wounded soldiers or for my work. מה זה? בואי ניסע, בואי. תגידי שלום לכולם. תגידי שלום. תגידי שלום.
Shalom. Shalom, cutie pie.
And again, if you pass the Zelle or my there's a nonprofit in the States that is helping me when people, מה היפה שלי? בואי רק תיכנסי לאוטו כי צריך לאסוף את תמר.
Beautiful, beautiful child.
זה. So there's אני אביא לך משהו, one second. There's a nonprofit that helps me because when I get paid, רגע, בואי אני אביא לך משהו, את רוצה קרטיב? אני אביא לך קרטיב, בואי, שבי. You always have to, I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
So there's a nonprofit that helps me when people want to pay me for the speaking engagements or they want to fundraise or whatever. So they pay through that nonprofit. So if you need a write-off or a tax exemption, you can get it through that. And that's it. I'm coming to the States maybe the beginning of June with one of the most wounded soldiers of this war for 2 events. If
What
one
happened
of your
to
community,
Sagi? What does he have, Sagi? Just tell us before you get off. What does he have?
what does he have? He doesn't have 2 hands, a leg, and an eye. That's what he doesn't have.
Oh my God.
So he lost more than he has, but he has a big heart, and he's an amazing guy.
Sagi,
And we will. What?
will you be in New York?
If we have an event, if it will be worth the while to travel with a severely wounded soldier for a speaking engagement, then we will come.
My son is
So that's the honest truth.
okay.
Okay, Sagi.
But
Thank
please, all you can be in touch on social media. Sagi Dovev, you'll find me. Get inspired and pray for our soldiers. That's it.
We do. Thank you, Sagi. Thank you for everything. You're really amazing. Thank you. And Hashem should watch over you, and he should protect you. He should protect all our soldiers, and we should have peace. Peace, and I don't know.
Peace in the Middle East. Thank you very much. Chag Sameach. Yom Ha'atzmaut
Chag-
Sameach.
Thanks, Sagi. Thank you. This was
Bye-bye.
incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sagi. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good Chodesh.
Okay, everyone, we're going to finish with our tefillahs. We're going to finish with our